Well, Molly Feigl and Reagan Wan asked for a story from me, and so I'll tell you a story. Today I'll tell the story of the first prayer I've said in 35 years. When I was in Harborview Medical Center being cared for after my surgery, you know, there, uh, Harborview has a reputation, and some of it is deserved, but I think that the nursing staff and the care staff there certainly don't deserve any, bad thoughts. I think they're all excellent. They're dedicated to their job. They try to do their best with the resources that they've got. And sometimes that's not enough, but sometimes, they make a strong personal effort to do the right thing. So there was a PCT, like a personal care technician, who I saw a couple of times. He had a couple shifts with me. Protect his privacy, I'll name him Edward. And Edward was the super kind, caring individual. And, there are times where I had a bowel movement in bed, or I wet my bed and I messed everything up. And there was a big cleanup job. And so every time he came in, I'd say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Edward." And he'd say, eventually, it dawned on me that he was saying, "Why are you saying sorry? Don't say sorry." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry I made a big mess and now you have to clean it up. I feel bad for you." And he said, "Well, I chose this career for a reason. I chose to be a caregiver, and I come to work every day and I know what I'm going to do. This is my choice, and I like what I do. So never say you're sorry." And that, was a huge impact on me. And instead of saying I'm sorry, I started to thank him every time he would come in and do something that I might consider unpleasant. And one day, as he was kind of changing me, I said, I asked him again. I accidentally said I'm sorry. He said, "Don't be sorry. This is what I think. If one day I'm ever in the position that you're in, I hope that somebody will treat me the same way that I'm treating you." And when he said that, that kind of, brought a little tear to my eye. Just thinking about it now. And I said, "Well, Edward, I hope you're never in this position, honestly." And he said, "I pray to God I'm not." And I said, "I'll pray for you as well," even though, as those of you who know me know, I'm not religious and I don't pray. Or at least I'm not religious anymore. I was brought up Christian, but, in middle school I kind of did the rejecting religion, and I've been that way ever since. And I've never said like a prayer since that age. But that night, as I was lying in bed, I decided I would say a prayer. And so it was very simple, very short. I just said, "Hey, God, whatever deity is out there, I, I please make sure that Edward never gets into the situation that I'm in. Amen." It's very simple, something like that. I don't remember exactly how I phrased it. And then immediately I felt a little bit better. So there is, I think, something to putting a positive intent out there into the universe, whoever you're addressing it to. I think having someone to address it to and wishing something for someone else it's a very powerful thing for the wisher, the person who, puts that thought into the universe. It's not necessarily about the person that you're praying for, but the person that is praying also receives a benefit as well. So anyway, that's the story. And, the way that I visualize this is, my prayer is a little candle on a little paper boat that I set on a river at night, and it just kind of floats away onto the horizon and disappears. Who knows what happens to it? Maybe someone hears it, acts on it, maybe not. But I sure feel better putting it out there. And I've said a few more since then for other, folks who've taken care of me, for other patients like my roommates at Harborview, and it always makes me feel better. But I also have to think very carefully about the words that I use sometimes. So anyway, don't want to get too technical. There's just a bunch of little paper boats with candles sailing toward the horizon right now.